Fab. So the winner of the poll for alternative easy life Sunday lunch was in fact Italian. Hurrah! So I'm going to show for you something super simple. Lots of people have been reaching out saying, what can I make that I can put in the oven, deal with later, and what can I get where I can get at least 2 or 3 meals out of this, because we all like a little planning in advance. So I am going to cook for you my pot roast chicken, okay, with peperonata. So she says she's going to make it with peperonata. She has 1 pepper, and I have a little jar of some roasted marinated ones. But it's super easy, and this is an opportunity for you to get into the cupboard and into the fridge and use up whatever you have. So, you know, if you don't have peppers but you've got squashes or cabbages or things that you want to use up, this is the time to make it happen. So, big pot to house my chicken. Really, it's super easy because everything is going to go in here. There's no kind of pre-prep ahead. We're going to get some heat into the pan, color off maybe a touch of garlic and some rosemary, and then start throwing things in. So once it's making magic happen in this pan, lid goes on into the oven and we can forget about it. So you can cook it for 1 hour and 45 and check it and take that up to 2 hours if you feel it needs, or you can leave the oven on super low and then just leave it for a good 3 hours if you would like to. So that's on a super low oven. So why do we do it in the pot? Because all of the flavor stays in there. When you cook a chicken in this way, and indeed if you poach it, you just get so much more yield from the chicken. So if you are going to take the time to buy the whole thing, you want to take as much of it off as you can. And sometimes you'll see when you roast it, the underside gets quite difficult to pick all of that meat off. Here, you'll find that it comes away from the carcass very easily. So that's a little bit left in here that you can then add a handful of pasta to the next day for lunch. You can eat it with rice. You could pull it apart and you can shred it and have it in sandwiches. Yum, big fan of that. And it's super easy. So here we go. What have I got? Chicken, garlic, some rosemary. Luckily for me, it's growing out back, which is why I've got it. Little touch of heat and fire. A pepper and an onion. You can double up if you would like to. If I was making this for a couple of days, I'd probably use 2 peppers, maybe 3 if you've got, and even red onion is fine. I'll be serving mine with some Hasselback potatoes, which I'll talk you through. So easy. It's like the most glamorous little jacket potato you have ever had. And then into the sauce, things I found in my cupboard. You will not find me without fennel seeds and chili flakes at any point. So they will be making a cameo today. I've got some marinated peppers in here. I found some black olive tapenade too, which I think will make for a nice addition to the sauce because I didn't have any whole olives. I had some capers, and then I have this amazing Turkish pepper paste from Belazou, which is really fun. If you haven't logged on to their website, do check it out because they have the most amazing collection of spices and pastes, and just a couple of jars of this nature can just change the whole dimension of your dinner. So I know it's not something that you'll all have. Really don't worry about it. For me, it was just to add a bit more flavor into the tomato sauce base. Leave it out, put it in, totally your call. Found some smoked paprika. I've got some chicken stock working here, so it's just a stock cube with some hot water, olive oil, and a splash of sherry vinegar. If you don't have sherry vinegar, any vinegar is fine, just don't use malt. That's not the right time for this. So we can begin. Let me talk you through these potatoes really, because you can prep this ahead of time and then just throw your dish into the oven. I am going for a full cast iron situation here because I just want to shove it in the oven and then take it out and put it straight on the table so there's no drama. So, Hasselbacks, what is it? I hear you all cry out. And ultimately, I don't know if you can see here, but we score the potato, and you don't cut all the way through, obviously, because you'll end up with slices. But you cut into it. I'm gonna see if you can see from here. So you just make little incisions into the potato, and as it roasts and it cuts, you'll find that they almost sort of open out a little bit. So they start roasting. We're going to use some molten salt, rosemary and garlic, and you'll find all of that flavor seeps into the potato. So can you just cut them into cubes if you can't be bothered to do this? Yes, of course you can. Can you just boil them and serve them with a little bit of butter? Of course you can. So the spuds that I have here are a little bit old, so I thought if they are a bit wrinkly anyway, let's get them into the oven, crisp them up, give them lots of flavor. This is also amazing if you would like to, which is a little bit naughty, but if you have some Parmesan or a really lovely cheese that you love, maybe a blue cheese or a gorgonzola or something, hot potatoes, melty cheese, delicious. So let me finish these up really quickly. It's a bit strange not slicing all the way through, actually. Almost there. So if you like, you know, if you wanted to, you could pop some smoked paprika on this too. If you don't like the garlic, you don't have to use it. And really you can choose whichever herb that you have around. They also work really nicely if you want to dress them with pesto to make them into more of a salad. So 2 to go, and then you'll see just how super easy this is. So spuds in, last one. Okay, and then they're all happy in here. So we're going to take some garlic. If I can get into it. Break this open. We'll take 2 cloves from here and then just give them a bit of a bash up. This is not necessarily the time that you want to be grating or mincing garlic onto this because it will just burn. So I would just bob those in there. If you wanted to split the bulb all the way through and leave that to roast in there, again, great idea. That would be really lovely. What have we got? Let's take some olive oil on top of these. So, yum. And then we'll be fairly generous with the molten salt on top. Rosemary, I'm going to add. So I'm not really going on a turbo heat with this. I am cooking this and then coming back to it later. So again, that slow and low approach. If they're halfway there, take them out. When you're ready to finish it, you can put them back in. But you can have a little look over here. Super easy. So that's one thing done. We can set that to one side until we're ready to go for it. And then now it's all about the chicken. So let me do a little bit of prep now, which is that I'm going to take another clove of garlic, or 2. We'll make it 2. And these I am going to peel in this instance, just because I want them to really work into the sauce. Again, please, if you're really not into garlic, it's not a problem. You can just omit them. But I think it tastes delicious. Also, when they slow cook in the stew, they go all sticky and jammy and delicious, which is really what we want. So, perfect. Some garlic. I think just a slice is fine. Okay. Lovely. Okay, and then I will take, because I'm here anyway, just a little touch. I am going to use dried chili, and I'm sure those of you who have seen me cooking over the last few videos think I have a small obsession with chili and coriander, and you'd be right. However, if you think about the fact that we're going to take a whole chicken here, it's a quite a sizable amount of chicken, and you want all the flavour to seep in. So we're going to put a lot of things into this pot, and the longer you cook it out, the more it will kind of marry together. So so don't be shy, don't go crazy on the chili if it's not for you, and you can always add more if you would like. So next is our pepper, including the end here. You can jump ahead on chopping, and then really however you like to slice it is really your call. So I quite like long strips for peperonata. Very easy. Off we go. And then we're going to do the onion. Okay, so let's get some warmth into this pan. It'll take a couple of minutes. So I thought I'd use my char grilled peppers come in some oil anyway. So let's not waste that. We'll stick that in the pan because I'm going to use up all of my peppers anyway. So a bit of olive oil going in there. And then let's work in our chili and our garlic. And it doesn't matter if the peppers fall in. In fact, we're supposed to be making easy life here. So just get it in the pan straight away. Done. Let's add some onion to this too. So as you get some heat into this, the aim is that all of those vegetables start to help build the sauce. So you'll find that adds to the tomato. We'll add a tiny touch of vinegar to this, just because peppers with that sweet and sour agrodolce vibe is just amazing. Onion peeling galore. Okay. So I'm sure there will be plenty of people who watch and feel that there should be a bit more process added to this, or that things should be done in stages. And if you would like to insert additional stages for this, then you're welcome to. But the aim of this is to get everything in the pan, get it in the oven, and then you can spend a bit more time at home relaxing with the family, or having a glass of wine, or doing something else. So it's not crazy amounts of effort, but what you get at the end is just totally delicious. Okay, we're in. So, all about the onions. Let's go in with these. So in a moment, I'll have to bring you over to my pan because it's quite deep pan and I don't think you can see inside. Let's have a hand wash and a stir. Okay, perfect. So, lovely. Everything in, everything's chill. Okay, fennel seeds. Little sprinkling of these. If you love anise like I do, you'll find with tomatoes, peppers and chicken, it's just amazing. So a generous teaspoon and a bit of this. Shortly I'll add just a half teaspoon of smoked paprika. And in the interim, I'm going to add just a half teaspoon of dried chili flake. I can hear that now beginning to start a little bit, which is great. So I'll use this opportunity to deal with the rest of my peppers. I'm sure this is happening a lot at home, but don't throw your jars away. Wash them. Perfect for a salad dressing and for storing other things. Okay, perfect. Get myself a utensil. Okay, let's bring this together a little bit. Let's give that just a touch more heat. Peppers, I'm just going to roughly chop them because they're a little bit smaller anyway. So let's see if they want to behave. Even though they're cooked, we're still going to put them in at the same time and they should break up nicely into the sauce. go with those. And we'll pick up on some of that olive oil that's left also into the pan, off the board. Okay. And wash. So just beneath me, I have my oven on preheat. So it's up to you. If you want to make this in the fast kind of way, you can just roast it on about 180 or so. That's not a problem. I'm going to drop mine down to about 150 so that I can let it slowly cook whilst I'm cracking on with other things. So in here is all that delicious veg. You can really smell the fennel now, which is so delicious. Rosemary again. Have I missed anything? No. So then it's all about chicken. And that's all of my chopping done. So I have wanted to buy a whole chicken for 2 weeks now, and actually was unable to find one at the supermarket. So this is a bit of a treat for me. If you couldn't get hold of a whole chicken, but really fancy doing the whole one tray roast thing, you can just buy drumsticks or thighs or legs, as you prefer, and do it in exactly the same way. It doesn't have to be a whole bird. Okay, great. So I've just taken the string off because we're going to have a bit of a born-free approach here. And my chicken is going to go straight into the pan. It's that simple. So, time for another hand wash. Okay, perfect. Need to be a bit longer. I'm going to have to move over just one. So, all that gorgeousness is working in the bottom of this pan. I'm going to go for a bit of a season up. A tiny teaspoon of my paprika also. Now, what I have here is just a touch of Blitz tomato. And the reason I'm adding this is because I'm going to help get those peppers stewing along the way, and also because I want my leftovers for pasta sauce. So this way you've got everything you need in one go. So you can blitz your tinned whole tomatoes, you can leave them in whole if you don't want to do that, it's really your call. Okay, so we'll give that a bit of TLC. Rosemary into, I think we'll go for some sprigs of that one and leave that one in as is. Okay, so just give my chicken stock a bit of a whirl. So I know naturally this chicken will produce its own stock too, but I just want to give the sauce a bit of extra flavour really. So in goes the stock. Just want to make sure all of that is out, which is perfect. Okay, and then we're going to just let it come up. You can hear it, that was fast. And now I'm going to use just a tablespoon of my Turkish pepper paste because I was one short on my pepper. So let's add that in now. Don't worry about stirring things and faffing. It will all come together in the end. Mill of pepper. And then at this point, I'm going to pop in just a little splash of my sherry vinegar. You might find it needs a touch more of that at the end, but we'll see when we finish the cook. So, chicken's in, sauce is in. I'm going to bring you over just a little bit, hopefully, so you can see what's happening over here. So it's all going on in my pot. Perfect. So, now heat goes off. The hot side of things is all over. Lid on. Oh my God, that smells amazing. Lid goes on, into the oven. That is a big pot. For now, I'm going to put these in the bottom also. And that's it. And now it's time to have a glass of wine. So it's really that simple. If you are choosing to use legs instead of the full chicken, again, just keep an eye on it. Roast them on high, put all of that stuff on the tray at the bottom, put the legs on top, season them really well, and you can roast it at 180. You don't have to wait forever, really not a problem. Otherwise, now is the time to turn the oven down and to go and do something else. If the potatoes start to colour a little bit, or you feel that they're perhaps moving a bit too fast, you can take them out and then leave them to one side. And when you're ready to plate, then just give them a little flash. That process of slicing, which I've completely forgotten, but is a hassle back, there I've remembered, you can apply to a sweet potato too. You can do it with butternut squash if you like, or you could do it with a full-size potato, but it's just a really nice way to impart that flavour. So chicken is in, spuds are working, glass of wine time, and then we can pick up shortly. So I've left my chicken in for about hour and 45 minutes or so now. So it should be ready. We can whip it out the oven, take a look. Ooh, potatoes. Oof. Look at those bad boys. So potatoes are looking great. And then next is the chicken, which smells amazing. Gosh, look at that. So we've got this really delicious peppery sauce. Yum. All that soft garlic in there and that rosemary, which just smells amazing. So I'm going to bring you over and you can have a little look. There we go. So if I had a generous handful of parsley right now, I would totally chop that and throw it all over the top. But I don't. So this is the point where you can take the chicken out, you can carve it, but for me, I just like to break it apart in the pan and get stuck in. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So fork, and then a knife, and then the legs just fall. I mean, there was no carving there, there was just pushing. You can see how easily the meat just falls straight off the bone. And the same for the breast, which is super tender. So I'm gonna just, again, bring you over here so you can have a little look at all of this gorgeousness. Oof. Yum. There we go. So we do a little plate up. Just in here. So we can have, well, just one or two spuds, but if you're feeling especially greedy, then make it more. Why not? Let's take a couple of these over here. And then a piece of this chicken, which just looks so delicious. So, oh wow, there it is, falling apart. So if you wanted to, you could strip all of the chicken into the sauce, finish with your parsley, and then take it to the table, pour it over pasta, serve it with rice, completely up to you. I'm gonna just come in for some of these stewed peppers so you can see how delicious and soft they've all gone. And this is what I mean about all those ingredients making the sauce as we go. just a touch more. Okay, so this right here is Easy Life pot roast chicken with that Italian twist, some little Hasselback potatoes, and you should have enough for the naughty sandwich the next day, or for your pasta the following day. So I hope you'll make it super easy and enjoy.